County legislator and someone who played a very important role in getting a resolution through the Ulster County legislature.
Thank you, Jen. And actually, another round of applause, by the way, for Frank Skartatos. Frank is our go-to assemblyman in Ulster County, and we love him dearly. So I really appreciate everything that you do for us every day. I really appreciate it. This is going to sound dramatic, and I'm not prone to speaking in dramatic ways, but honestly, I could talk for hours with regards to how bad this deal is and how much frustration that we have. But we really have a choice here in the Hudson Valley, and it really is a choice for what kind of future do we want to have. Do we want to have a future in which we are relying upon renewables? Do we want to have a future in which we protect and try to expand good-paying jobs? Do we want a future in which we are limiting fossil fuels? And that's part of what this deal comes down to. I think there's a reason why you've seen a diverse coalition of people band together with regards to this issue. Because you do have some people who are on board because of labor issues, or they're on board because of environmental issues. Or they're on board for all the above. They're concerned about NAFTA. They're concerned about what this means for the future of regulation in New York State. And all these things together have accumulated in this bad deal that we have in front of us, that New York State has in front of us. We're talking about a public monopoly. That's something that we provide, that Central Hudson operates, right? A publicly sanctioned monopoly that a Canadian company with a bad track record wants to buy. It may, and again, I'm not going to say that it's a doomsday scenario, but it definitely is one that causes concern. I think it's something that you've now seen a diverse coalition of elected officials now get involved in this issue because they are all bringing these concerns to light. Ulster County was one of many municipalities that came out in opposition. And again, it's that diverse coalition. We had some unionists, we had some environmentalists, we had other folks in between who were just concerned about the deal that we have in front of us at this time. I think if there is any clear message that we can send, it is that right now this Fortis deal is no good. That doesn't mean in the future that something might change. Maybe Fortis will forgive this, but maybe find Jesus and suddenly, start actually improving its track record on the environment and on renewables. I remain an optimist. But, I'm sorry, even that made me laugh. It becomes a thing in which, at the very least, we all agree that something has to be done. And if I have any hope, is that the Public Service Commission, the commissioners will firstly do an evidentiary hearing, which you're probably going to hear more about from Dan and others, that they will extend out the public comment out to 60 days. But those are just first steps. We really have to have the PSC do the hard look at this deal. Because I think when you do that, you realize how bad it is for those of us here in the Hudson Valley. And it's my hope that we all join the municipal consortium that you're going to hear more about from Susan and others about what that means and what we're actually right now trying to do with regards to this deal. So on that note, I'm going to just close up and just say thank you all for coming here. Thank you all for your efforts. But really, we need more, and there's more to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Hector, and thanks for your optimism. I'd now like to introduce Dan Duffy on behalf of Citizens for Local Power and the Municipal Consortium, our esteemed public utilities attorney.
Thank you, Jen. Good afternoon, everyone, elected officials, people that are interested in what's going on around them. I applaud you. It takes a lot of effort for people to get out and to go to the public statement hearings that were held, 4 of them. The thing that I found amazing was that not a single person got up in support of this transaction, and I would say about 60 people spoke. Not a single person got up to support the transaction. Now that says a lot. It also says a lot about the company who wasn't there. Neither Fortis or Central Hudson was interested enough to hear what their customers were saying to send a single representative to at least the last 2 public statement hearings. I was not at the first 2 because I hadn't had the honor yet of being engaged by the Citizens for Local Power and the consortium. So I can't say about the first 2 hearings, but they were not there. And just as a businessman, and I know we have businessmen here in the room, it's an opportunity to talk to your customers, to find out what's going on with them. Why wouldn't you take that opportunity? When I was on the other side of the fence, helping utilities get rate increases, and I probably raised rates about $1 billion in my career, so I would insist on bringing people from the utility to the public statement hearings. They didn't necessarily always want to go because it's an unpleasant experience for the utility, but it was important for them to be there because somebody would get up and say, oh, the street light is out at the corner of Main and Broad, or I have a problem with, and they could be dealt with right then and there, and that was just very good. Here, to me, this shows an utter disregard and lack of interest, and that does not bode well if this is what we're seeing when they're trying to put their best suit on to get approved and get this marriage done. It does not bode well for the future. If that's the way they're behaving now, what are they going to do when they finally do get married? There's nothing we can do about it. So I'm not going to go over. I would commend to you the excellent summary of the brief that we filed that was prepared by Susan Gillespie here. But I got something yesterday. Right after I pressed the button and I filed our documents, that's the way you do things these days, right? I got this email from Belize. It says it's a copy of a note that went to the Public Service Commission. We live in Belize, Central America. We saw on the internet information about this acquisition fight. We have been dealing with Fortis here in Belize, Central America since 1999 when they acquired 68% of our electric company, Belize Electricity Limited, and eventually acquired 100% of Belize Electricity Company, BCOL, which produces about 50% of our energy via dams. Thereby, they own both the distribution of electricity as well as the production of electricity. BEL was taken back by the government, though the matter is still in court. We are still bound by some awful financial investment contracts. During their tenure as owners of BEL, they threatened rolling blackouts if they did not get raises in electric rates they wanted. They did not pay for energy received from Mexico, and the government had to guarantee the debt of the energy from Mexico would be cut off. Fortis touts that an environmentally friendly company, but nothing could be further from the truth. I am attaching a photo of a dam built and operated by Fortis BCOL when they released sediment into our river as an example of their record. And I have pictures here. As they say, picture is worth 1,000 words. I should have brought more, but I ran out of paper and ink. But I'm just going to pass these around. This is the dam. This is the environmentally friendly track record that Fortis decides to crow about.
Makes the Esopus look good.
Please pass these around and share them. I think this is a happy example of the environment. There's more examples of their environmental track record in our brief, so I'm not going to bore you with that. But again, I'm going to close to let somebody else speak. If anybody has any questions, I'll be around afterwards. And I think that this is going to go into the public record. And by the way, there's a bunch of facts out there that they're putting out on the back page of newspapers every day. And those facts are highly questionable. They claim that they have an A rating. That's wrong. They have a BAA rating. That's less than Central Hudson. Central Hudson has an A rating, not Fortis. Fortis is highly leveraged compared to Central Hudson. That's going to cost you more money in rates. I calculate at least $5 million a year in rates. Now that is a net negative benefit, not a net positive benefit. When you look at this case, this is the worst transaction. I've been doing this for 37 years. This is the worst transaction I have ever seen get this far at the Public Service Commission. And I don't know how it got this far, but it did. But well, I think the executives have something to do, have a little interest in, a little self-interest in the change in control payments. Yes, that's undoubtedly true. But because the Citizens for Local Power got started, because we have representatives here from the town of New Paltz and other elected officials, we are going to be able to stop this, or at least we're going to give it one heck of a try.
Yes, we're going to stop.